Good morning, this is Jack from Charting the Markets, and this is the pre-market webinar for the morning of Tuesday, the 23rd of December. My disclaimer, it is for educational purposes only. I'm here to share my technical analysis with you. I hope you can take some of what I'm doing, learn from it, and transfer it to your own charts, and I'm not here to issue trading signals. This is a video for paying subscribers at chartingthemarkets.substack.com, and it's published on YouTube after a delay of 24 hours. All right, slightly strangely this morning, the only news that's out that I can see that's significant is the first estimate for Q3 GDP, and that came in at 4.3% against an estimated 3%. Now, I'm not sure that means anything really, but I would have thought the market would think it meant something, and it's not really reacting at all, which is a little strange. But I mean, this is a holiday week. Attendance is going to be very light today. I'm not expecting to see any kind of fireworks really on either side. So, we will see how it goes. But I think it's a little strange that we haven't had more of a positive reaction from that. All right, looking at ES, we've actually managed to get a 60-minute sell signal fixed, but I've looked at all the others. We haven't got anything on NQ or RTY or YM. DAX and STX, I've now rolled these over into March, and we don't have anything on those either. And we did have already a weak 6-minute sell signal fixed on ESTX. I'm not sure that means a great deal. In terms of patterns, I'm mainly looking at the RTH patterns, but obviously decent looking IHS here, and we've now made it about 2/3 of the way to the target. I'm leaning towards that making target and seeing retests of the December highs across the board, and ideally I would like to see retests of the all-time highs on SPX and NDX as well. Qs made it up about, well, again, 2/3 of the way up as well on the IHS, which is broken up there. On RTY, same again. And YM has now broken up from the double bottom with a target basically at a retest of the December high, which would be the all-time high there. On DAX, we've got a little IHS, which is broken up with a target at a retest of the high, and on ESTX, arguably this one is too large to be an IHS. So I'm not sure about this one, but to be honest, I put it in for what it is worth, and this looks like a bull flag for me. I'm still leaning towards all of these making targets. One 60-minute sell signal doesn't really mean a lot. If we were looking at 4, I'd be taking this more seriously. Although, even in that case, this would still be a holiday week where that wouldn't necessarily mean an awful lot. All right, let's have a look at the daily middle bands, where we closed over the daily middle band on ES yesterday and SPX, and also the Qs. So we've had a break back over and a confirmation that leans bullish. In terms of the 15-minute chart, obviously we've got an IHS here which is broken up with a target in the 6903 area. We are not actually that far. If the high yesterday was 38 handles away from the all-time high, and that's not a great deal. We just basically need to get 1% higher by the end of this week or shortly afterwards to retest the all-time high. That is close. We do have a little 15-minute RSI 14 sell signal fixed. Looking at Qs, don't have a sell signal fixed there. Again, nice little IHS on Dyer. We broke up from the double bottom yesterday and hasn't really made any progress from there, but that's got a pretty clear target back up at 488.60. And looking at IWM. Right, IWM, we've got a nice little IHS which is broken up and pretty much made the target already. Almost, but I'm really expecting to see a retest of that high too. That's the obvious thing to expect this week. We haven't seen it yet, but chances are we're going to. In terms of DAX, I did mention yesterday that I've got a possible alternate here where they've got an alternate head and better head and shoulders forming. That could be the case, but otherwise I'm leaning towards seeing a retest of the all-time high there too. On Nikkei, I'm wondering about the triangle here. Now, if this is a bullish triangle, and kind of looks like one, then this would have an obvious lean for a breakup towards a retest of the high here at 52.6k. We will see. All right, looking at DX. DX, I was actually looking at a pretty nice bullish setup the other day, and that's just basically entirely collapsed. No positive divergence here yet, so expecting to see a full retest of this low here at 97.5. We could be setting up a double bottom, or we could just be resuming. The double bottom has broken down with a target in the 97.19 area. We just could be continuing down to that target, and that's probably the case. USD has almost retested the high, but not quite. GBP USD, we had a double top breakdown that failed convincingly. We do have a 60-minute sell signal fixed here though, and we do have a nice looking rising wedge where we are hitting resistance at the moment. So this one looks as though it might reverse here. USD JPY, not a lot happening here really. Week 60-minute buy signal is fixed, which is supporting dollar going up. USD CAD, we had an IHS break up here and fail. So that has continued down. Australian dollar, we had a head and shoulders breakdown and that's failed. And NZ, we had a head and shoulders breakdown and that failed too. So that was all the various patterns supporting the dollar going up this week, and basically they all failed. And we don't have any meaningful divergence here at the moment, apart from some weak divergence on the yen. All right, ZB looking weak, probably going to retest the lows soon. We may just resume the downside. The large head and shoulders has of course broken down with a target in the 112.04 area. Looking at ZN, we've got a large double top, but it's broken down with a target in the 110.17 to 110.12 range, and we may be resuming that too. We made the little double bottom target. This looks like a flag, and that flag may be breaking down. All right, CL, I'm wondering whether we're seeing a reaction here. I mean, obviously we've gone down and we're seeing a rally here. That is not unusual. But I am wondering if this is a reaction to the US starting to seize Venezuelan oil on the high seas. Obviously, that could take a lot of oil out of circulation. So, and I think, of course, in effect, the Ukrainians are doing the same with the Russians, not by seizing their tankers, but by bombing their refinery capacity and ports. So watching this with interest, but I am leaning towards seeing another retest of the low soon. We have a possible 60-minute sell signal brewing, and we've got another one brewing on RBOB, but not on HO. On HO, we got a little level bottom, which I'm watching here, which could break up. Nothing equivalent on CL, nothing equivalent on RBOB either, which looks like a bear flag. NG, we had a possible double bottom, then we went down and made a lower low. So you've now got a possible smaller double bottom, which is trying to break up with a target in the 4.42 to 4.48 area. Looking at GC, heading higher here, new all-time high made, no current negative divergence. SI, heading up, is now over 70. What a run. What a run. It's but it's obviously tearing apart this nice resistance trend line I had here, so well, they could go higher. Palladium and platinum, these both have targets significantly higher after IHS have broken up, and these are behaving like precious metals. I think these could have a long way further to go. On platinum, the target's in about the 2290 area. We're actually getting pretty close to that now. But that could still go higher than that too. HG, the double top here is breaking up. We are heading higher here. Not quite sure why this is happening on copper, to be honest, but should be respected. I do have a possible retest target up in about the 5.9 or 6 area, I think, and it may be that it's heading there. KC, 60-minute buy signal has reached the possible near miss target. I'm leaning towards the downside, to be honest, on the bigger picture. SB, I think we may be forming a bear flag here, but I'd quite like to see the double bottom target made in the 15.43 area first. On CC, nice looking double bottom here, hasn't really, just trading sideways at the moment. On CT, nice looking double bottom here, just trading sideways at the moment. Lumber, we've got an IHS which is broken up with a target in the 620 area. To fail that IHS, we would need to get down here, basically down to 565 again, which we're still some way short of, but it could be that's going to fail. Bigger picture, I've got big downside targets. On ZW, we've got a nice looking channel here, and it looks like we may be heading towards channel resistance. Waiting to see, but that is, I'm wondering about a breakup from there. We did have a little IHS here, but it actually made target by the next time I looked at it, so I never marked it in. Corn has broken up over this declining resistance, and we had a sell signal fixed. That's almost failed, and it may be failing. The obvious target, if this loosely a triangle is breaking up, would be a retest of this high here in the 467 area, 457 area. Looking at soy, we're having a little bit of a rally here, not much. Weak 6-minute sell signal, buy signal is fixed. Wondering whether to call that as maybe the possible near miss target, but ideally it would go a little higher. ZL has broken over channel resistance here, and that looks as though it may be significant. We've got a nice, very nice looking double bottom here, and I'm thinking we may well see a break up here and a move towards the 50.5 to 50.75 area. Live cattle, just consolidating sideways at the moment, could be a double top. HE could be a double top. but I'm leaning towards this going higher, and we've got a large double bottom, which is broken up with the target in the 88.65 to 90.2 area. All right, let's have a quick look at questions. Right, bonds are dropping after GDP. Yeah, interest rates really do look as though they're going up there. Yeah, stagflation, here we come. I think very possibly, yeah. I think we've certainly got a lovely bullish setup on interest rates, and the government's doing absolutely nothing to improve confidence in the bond market. So yeah, higher interest rates are likely to be coming. Actually, it doesn't matter really at all what the Fed does there. So on interest rates, that is, there is one thing. What the Japanese did was they actually just printed money and bought an awful lot of their own bonds, a really, really, really large amount. Possible that might work. Sounds insane, but a lot of the stuff from the Fed has, over the last 20 years, has sounded pretty insane. So would it be much more insane than that? I'm thinking yes, but we will see. All right, great. In that case, that's a wrap. Everyone take care. And I'll catch you guys tomorrow. All right, cheers.